and sign and message that you are to receive. Now, as we started last Sunday, we've been speaking of going to preach on the trumpets, the last 7 trumpets of the Bible. And me and myself, I thought they would break forth just like the seals. But I've noticed on each one of these openings there has been a tremendous thing happen. As we preached the 7 church ages, and they were so perfectly until the Holy Spirit Himself come down among us and vindicated it and put it upon the papers and throwed it across the nation and showed it in the moon in the heavens and proved it to us weeks and months before it happened that just the way it would be, perfectly. Here in the tabernacle He made it known. Here in the time He made it known. On the moon and the sun He made it known. And in the position of the nations at this time He made it known. As the hierarchy of Rome left and went back to Palestine. Supposedly it had been the first pope back since they claimed Peter being the pope. Now, it was so tremendous. Then we see before the 7 seals that hid all the mysteries, me not knowing what I was drawing on the board for the church ages. I never, God knows, just by vision I drawed it, not knowing that God, a year and 6 months later, was going to vindicate it in the skies by the moon and slip it across the national papers. I didn't know that. I didn't know there'd be a mysterious blackout in the moon to represent this Laodicea age. Now on the papers you only get the 6 ages. It's because the Laodicea church was blacked out completely. And if you notice the spiritual application, as God said it in the heaven, when I said it here on earth, I left a little bitty space, as you see, just a teeny little bit of light. That was just before the very elected was to be called from the earth. The reason I placed it on there for the 7th age. But when God put it in the heavens, it was totally blacked out. Means maybe the last one is called from that Laodicea age. We don't know. There could be a sermon on it. Now, notice again before the 7 seals, which I had no idea it was that way. Here at the tabernacle, He spoke of it and sent me to Tucson, Arizona, telling you all what would happen. And there's man sitting present today who was there to see it happen. Just exactly the way it was told here would happen. 7 angels would come. Then the newspapers packed that, the magazines. Across the nation, mysterious circle of light in the form of a pyramid, just like I drawed it here and showed you. Raised up from where those angels were standing and went 30 miles high and was 27 miles across. Or either 27 miles high and 30 miles across. I forget which it was. And was seen throughout the states. Just up above Tucson, Arizona. Right where it happened. Same time. See, the Bible, God is not just, this is just not someone trying to press something to you, but to reveal to you the very spiritual application of this hour. And then the next message, that opened up the 7 seals, which undone all the hidden mysteries of the Bible, the doctrines and so forth, which the world so rudely attacks nowadays. Attacks it and says it's wrong. This, that. The other day in Arizona, spliced some tapes to try to make me say things that I didn't say. Just remember the vision about the Arizona proposition. The Bible said it was far better for you that you had a rock at your neck. And another thing, that whosoever, let him be preacher or what will take one word away from it or add one word to it. People putting their own interpretation upon the word as it's been given, trying to make it say something that I did not say. Not my word, it's His word. Who shall add to or take away? And then in the vision we've seen these prophets whirl down, as I explained to you, I believe, several Sundays ago. Law, I said, just keep away from it. As long as I'm fighting it, then God can't fight it. But let's let Him have it. He's the one who takes care of it. See? Now we noticed last Sunday there was preaching the feast days, and there was a feast of Pentecost. And between the feast of Pentecost and the Feast of Trumpets, that was a long period of time, exactly 50 days between Pentecost and the Feast of the Trumpets. And 50 days, which Pentecost means 50, it was the sheaf weighing, or the first fruits of the harvest was brought in. And we see it was in type back there with the natural first fruits, representing the first fruits of the Holy Spirit to be poured out upon the people. And we find out then that them 50 days was received by the Gentiles, which God called from the Gentiles a people for His name. The feast of the Pentecost. And we have been going through that long feast of Pentecost. Now, actually, from the 50 days would be exactly 7 Sabbaths. And 7 Sabbaths represented the 7 church ages to be called in the time of the Pentecostal feast of Pentecost to call a people from the Gentiles for His name. Now, at the end of these 7 Sabbaths, which has been, there was to be the Day of Atonement, which was the 7 trumpets. And the 7 trumpets was to call a day of mourning back for the sacrifice or the atonement. And we find out then that Israel, the 7 trumpets pertained only to Israel. And then why He wouldn't let me preach them 7 trumpets, I even was ready to announce it, had the halls ready and everything to go into to preach the 7 trumpets. And I said, there's something bothering me so bad. I said, we kept on working, and Billy and all of us trying to get everything ready for the air-conditioned building for this next coming week, for the 7 trumpets, having 10 days or 8 days at the school auditorium. But the Holy Spirit wouldn't let me do it for some reason. And I wondered why. And when I went in to pray, I told the wife, I'm going in, and sincerely I knelt down before God to pray, and He revealed to me them 7 trumpets sounded under the 6th seal, and I've done preached it. Supernaturally. See, it's the hand of God. The whole thing. It pertains to Israel, and we picked it up under the 6th seal, you all who have that. How the persecution of the Jews. The time of the Gentiles has been in this Pentecostal feast. The trumpets, under all of them, was sounded under the 6th seal. And we picked it up last Sunday under the Feast of the Trumpets, if you all want to get it. What was it to do? To rush the Jews from all parts of the world back into their homeland. It must be there. And the opening of the seals under the 6th seal and under the 7 trumpets sounded in the 6th seal. Now, the 7th angel's message is to open the mystery of the seals, calling the 11th hour Gentile workers to receive the same pay that the first hour workers got. See? Now, Jesus taught it. He said there was some peoples went into the harvest. They were hired. And when they did, of early morning, they received a time, a penny for the day. And then at noontime, someone else come in and went to work. And then at the 11th hour, that's the last hour of the day, that someone come in and receive the same kind of pay that they did at the first hour of the day. Last hour. It's so perfectly how the first hour messengers, with the Word, with the Gospel, with the truth, they came in at the day of Pentecost. Then there was a dark age that blocked them out. Then at the middle of the day, Luther and Wesley and them came in. And then there is to be an evening time message. And to receive the same thing that they did at the beginning. The evening time message is to restore back again to bring back that same thing again. And remember, the evening time